Captain Zena Blackwood stood at the viewport of the stellar horizon, watching the crimson dust storms swirl across the surface of Proxima VII. The mining colony's distress beacon had gone silent 3 days ago, and against all protocol and common sense, she was about to attempt a rescue mission during the planet's notorious storm season. "Captain, with all due respect, this is suicide," First Officer Raj Patel said, his holographic form flickering beside her. "Those storms are reading off the charts, and you know what they say about this sector." Zena adjusted her environmental suit settings, double-checking the reinforced plating. "They say a lot of things about this sector, Raj. They also said humans couldn't survive deep space travel, yet here we are." The colony's last transmission had mentioned something about movement in the deep mines, but the message had been garbled. Standard procedure would have been to wait for the storms to pass, but Zena had never been one for standard procedures. "Engineering reports the shuttle is prepped, Captain," Lieutenant Yuki Nakamura's voice crackled through the comm. "Though I still think we should wait for backup." "Noted, Lieutenant, but those colonists don't have that luxury." Zena strode toward the shuttle bay, her magnetic boots clicking against the metal floor. "Keep the horizon stable in orbit, Raj. If I'm not back in 6 hours, follow Emergency Protocol Alpha." The descent through Proxima VII's atmosphere was like riding a mechanical bull through a tornado. Zena's shuttle, heavily modified for extreme conditions, barely managed to stay on course. The colonial outpost emerged from the red haze like a ghost, a collection of reinforced domes connected by sealed tunnels, half buried in crimson sand. The landing pad's automated systems were offline, forcing a manual touchdown that would have made her flight instructors proud. As Zena stepped onto the pad, her suit's sensors immediately began analyzing the environment. The readings were odd electromagnetic disturbances far beyond what the storm should cause. The main airlock yielded to her override codes, but inside, the colony was dead silent. Emergency lights cast eerie shadows through the corridors, and the air recyclers hummed at minimal capacity. "Hello," her voice echoed through the comm system. "This is Captain Zena Blackwood of the Stellar Horizon. Anyone receiving?" The only response was the distant rumble of the storm and something else, a vibration through the floor that didn't match the storm's pattern. Following the colony's layout on her HUD, Zena made her way to the operations center. The computers were still running on backup power, and she quickly accessed the last logs. What she found made her blood run cold. "Captain," Raj's voice crackled through her comm, "we're detecting some unusual seismic activity around your position." "I see it," Zena replied, watching the readings spike on her display. "The colonists found something in the deep mines, something big. They tried to contain it, but—" The floor trembled, and Zena braced herself against a console. The vibrations were getting stronger, forming a pattern that seemed almost rhythmic. A security feed from the lower levels caught her attention. The timestamp was from 3 days ago, showing a massive tunnel that hadn't been there in the original colony plans. And emerging from that tunnel was something that defied explanation, a creature that looked like a fusion of ancient Earth legends and cosmic horror. But what struck Zena wasn't its size or its otherworldly appearance. It was its behavior. The creature wasn't attacking the colony's infrastructure. It was systematically clearing debris, creating new tunnels, and was it helping to stabilize the structural supports? "Captain, whatever's down there, it's moving toward your position," Raj warned. "You need to evacuate now." Zena's mind raced. The logs, the creature's behavior, the colonists' final messages, it all pointed to something unprecedented. "Negative, Raj. I'm going to the lower levels. There's more to this situation than we thought." "Captain, that's a death sentence. The readings we're getting. That thing down there matches the profile of a cosmic deathworm. They're apex predators that consume entire planets." Zena was already moving toward the mine shaft elevators. "Then why is this one rebuilding instead of destroying? The colonists didn't evacuate, Raj. They're down there with it, and I'm going to find out why." The elevator groaned as it descended into the darkness, and Zena checked her pulse rifle more out of habit than intention to use it. Something told her she was about to rewrite everything humanity thought they knew about these legendary creatures. The doors opened to a sight that would change the course of human-alien relations forever. The colonists were there, alive, working alongside the massive creature. And in the center of it all was a young deathworm, barely a fraction of adult size, helping to reinforce the mine's support structures with its natural abilities to manipulate mineral deposits. Captain, Chief Engineer Marcus Wang called out, his face lit with excitement rather than fear. "You're just in time to meet our new colleague. We've been calling him Titan." Xena stared in awe as the juvenile deathworm turned toward her, its sensory appendages swaying with what could only be described as curiosity. In that moment, she realized she wasn't just participating in a rescue mission. She was witnessing the beginning of something revolutionary. The universe wasn't ready for what humanity was about to prove, that even the most feared creatures in the cosmos could become allies with the right approach. And Titan was just the 2 months after the discovery on Proxima VII, the stellar horizon had been transformed. What was once a standard rescue vessel now housed the galaxy's first human deathworm cooperative research facility. Captain Xena Blackwood stood in the newly constructed observation deck, watching Titan gracefully maneuver through the ship's external maintenance systems. "The structural reinforcements are holding better than expected," Chief Engineer Wang reported, his hands dancing across a holographic display. "Titan's ability to manipulate and strengthen metal alloys is revolutionary. We've increased hull integrity by 300% in the treated areas." Xena nodded, trying to hide her pride as Titan delicately repaired a micrometeorite impact point. The juvenile deathworm had grown nearly 40 feet in the past months, but its gentleness with the human crew remained unchanged. "Any word from command about our latest proposal?" "Admiral Kenzo is still processing the idea," First Officer Patel said diplomatically, joining them at the viewport. "Suggesting we establish a permanent Deathworm partnership program is a bit much for the traditional brass to swallow." A warning light flashed on Wang's display. "Speaking of swallowing, Titan's mineral intake is due. Permission to open Bay 4 for feeding." "Granted," Xena authorized, watching as massive panels opened along the ship's hull. Titan immediately sensed the released mineral clusters, his feeding appendages extending with practiced precision. The sight still unnerved many of the crew, but Xena saw only the careful restraint in each movement. Lieutenant Nakamura's voice came through the comm. "Captain, we're receiving a priority transmission from the Galactic Council. There, demanding an immediate inspection of our biological weapon research facility." "Wonderful," Xena muttered. "Looks like our secret's out. Raj, prepare our diplomatic protocols. Marcus, begin documenting all of Titan's assistance with ship operations. Yuki, tell them we'll receive their inspection team in 12 hours. The crew burst into action, but a sudden tremor through the deck plates made everyone freeze. Titan had stopped feeding, his sensory arrays rigid with attention. Through the viewport, they watched as the massive creature oriented toward a specific point in space. "What's got him spooked?" Raj asked, checking sensor readings. Before anyone could respond, Titan pressed himself against the ship's hull, his entire body beginning to emit a low-frequency vibration that resonated through the structure. The sensor arrays exploded with warnings. "Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace," Yuki announced. "Energy signatures match Razak pirates." Xena's mind raced. The Razak were notorious for attacking research vessels, stealing technology, and selling crew members to slavery rings. Standard protocol was to retreat immediately, but the stellar horizon's experimental modifications meant they couldn't enter hyperspace quickly. "Battle stations," she ordered, but her eyes were on Titan. The Deathworm had positioned himself between the approaching pirates and the ship's most vulnerable sections. "Marcus, what's he doing?" "The vibrations." Wang's eyes widened as he analyzed the readings. "He's creating some kind of electromagnetic field, similar to our shields but far more complex." The first Razak ship opened fire, their energy weapons streaking toward the stellar horizon. But instead of impacting shields or hull, The beams seemed to warp and dissolve against an invisible barrier extending from Titan's position. Impossible, Raj breathed. He's not just blocking their weapons, he's absorbing the energy. Xena watched in amazement as Titan's scales began to glow with stored power. The Deathworm suddenly uncoiled, extending to his full length, and released a concentrated burst of energy that sliced through space like a solar flare. The lead Razak ship's shields collapsed instantly. "All Razak vessels are retreating," Yuki reported, her voice filled with awe. "They're sending out warnings to their fleet. They're calling us the demon ship protected by a star serpent." The tension on the bridge dissolved into nervous laughter, but Xena's attention was on Titan, who had resumed his feeding as if nothing had happened. She'd known the Deathworm was intelligent, but this level of protective behavior, this degree of technological comprehension. "Captain," Marcus said quietly, "I think we just found our best argument for the Galactic Council. Titan didn't just defend us, he did it without causing any casualties. He chose to disable rather than destroy." "Send all sensor data to my ready room," Xena ordered, "and prepare a formal presentation. When the Council's inspection team arrives, we're not going to justify our research." A smile spread across her face as Titan finished his meal and gave the viewport what had become his characteristic wave, a gentle undulation of his forward sensors. "We're going to propose expanding it." The crew watched as their unlikely crew member resumed his maintenance duties, each of them knowing that the universe was about to change. Humanity had just proven that the most feared creatures in space could become the greatest allies, if you were willing to look past the surface and offer trust instead of fear. "Titan just rewrote the book on interspecies cooperation," Raj mused. "The Council's not going to know what hit them." "No," Xena agreed, watching as her friend and partner secured another section of hull plating. "But they're about to learn what humanity has always known, that the strongest bonds often come from the most unexpected places." The Galactic Council's emergency session chamber was packed with representatives from over 300 species. Captain Xena Blackwood stood at the center of the circular platform, surrounded by towering holographic displays showing Titan's interactions with the stellar Horizon crew. "This is madness," the Voraxian delegate's tentacles writhed in agitation. "You've weaponized a Class X predator. The Deathworms have consumed entire civilizations." "With all due respect, Ambassador," Xena countered, nodding to Chief Engineer Wang to advance the presentation. "Titan has demonstrated intelligence and empathy far beyond our previous understanding of his species. The incident with the Razak pirates proves—" "It proves nothing except human recklessness," interrupted Ambassador Cathal of the Meridian Confederation. His crystalline form pulsed with angry red light. "First, you survive in deep space when all predictions said you couldn't. Then you colonize worlds we deemed uninhabitable. Now you tame the untamable. Where does this end?" First Officer Patel stepped forward, his holographic form projecting from the stellar horizon. "Perhaps that's exactly why we've succeeded where others failed. We didn't try to tame Titan, we offered partnership." The chamber erupted in overlapping arguments until High Counselor Vectra raised her ancient hands for silence. The Ascended One's multifaceted eyes fixed on Xena. "Captain Blackwood, while your achievements are remarkable, you must understand our concerns. The last recorded Deathworm attack resulted in the loss of the entire Centauri sector. Which is precisely why this breakthrough is so important." Xena activated a new hologram, showing Titan's neural activity patterns. "Dr. Nakamura, please explain your findings." Lieutenant Yuki Nakamura's image appeared, her excitement visible despite the transmission delay. "Our research shows that Deathworms aren't mindless destroyers, they're custodians. The mineral consumption we interpreted as planetary destruction is actually part of a complex geological maintenance system. They're not eating worlds, they're preventing cosmic-scale geological disasters." The chamber fell silent as data streamed across the displays. Mineral composition analyses, tectonic stability readings, and before and after scenarios painted a revolutionary picture of Deathworm behavior. "The Centauri incident," Wang added, "wasn't an attack. According to our models, that sector was approaching a catastrophic chain reaction of stellar instability. The Deathworm presence actually prevented the disaster from spreading to neighboring systems. Ambassador Cathal's color shifted to a thoughtful blue. If this is true, the implications are staggering. They are, Zena agreed. And we've only scratched the surface. Titan has begun teaching us about his species' communication methods. There's an entire network of deathworms out there maintaining cosmic equilibrium. They're not our enemies, they're the galaxy's immune system. High Counselor Vectra leaned forward. And what does Titan gain from this partnership? Why don't you ask him yourself? Zena smiled, activating the final hologram. The chamber gasped as a real-time feed from the stellar horizon filled the space. Titan had positioned himself near the ship's communication array, his neural patterns synchronized with the transmission. Through a combination of electromagnetic pulses and the translation matrix they'd developed, his thoughts echoed through the chamber. "Greetings, Council. I am honored to address you." Titan's translated voice was deep and resonant. "My kind has watched the younger races grow, maintaining the spaces between your worlds. We have waited for a species ready to bridge the gap between us. Humanity, with their remarkable ability to adapt and their willingness to extend trust, has finally opened that door." The chamber erupted in astonished murmurs as Titan continued. "I propose an exchange of knowledge. My people can teach you about the deep mechanics of space itself, help prevent natural disasters before they occur. In return, we seek understanding and cooperation. The time of isolation is over." High Counselor Vectra's expression was unreadable as she studied the feed. "Captain Blackwood, it seems you've initiated more than a simple research project. You've started a fundamental shift in galactic relations." "That's what humans do best, Counselor," Zena replied. "We see possibilities where others see threats. We reach out instead of pulling back." She gestured to the display where Titan was now demonstrating a new technique for strengthening the ship's quantum communication array. "The question isn't whether humanity is ready for this partnership. The question is the galaxy ready to evolve?" The council chamber buzzed with intense discussion. Centuries of fear and mistrust were being challenged by the undeniable evidence before them. Zena caught Raj's holographic eye and saw her own hope reflected there. Whatever the council decided, there was no going back. Humanity had shown that the most feared force in the galaxy could become its greatest ally. The age of isolation was indeed over. The age of understanding was about to begin. 3 months after the Galactic Council session, alarms blared through the stellar horizon's corridors. Captain Zena Blackwood raced to the bridge, where holographic displays showed a phenomenon she'd never seen before, a massive tear in space-time, spreading like a cosmic wound. "Report," she commanded, taking her position as the crew worked frantically at their stations. "The anomaly appeared 20 minutes ago," First Officer Raj Patel responded, his fingers dancing across control panels. "It's already consumed 2 uninhabited systems and it's growing exponentially. The Meridian Confederation is evacuating their outer colonies." Lieutenant Nakamura's voice crackled through the calm. "Captain, Titan's behavioral patterns have changed dramatically. He's trying to tell us something, but the translation matrix can't process it. The frequencies are off the charts." "On screen," Zena ordered. The main viewport shifted to show Titan, who had positioned himself at the ship's bow. The massive Deathworm's body pulsed with unprecedented energy patterns, his sensory arrays oriented toward the spatial tier. Chief Engineer Wang burst onto the bridge. "Captain, I've decoded part of Titan's signal. He's not just communicating with us, he's broadcasting to every Deathworm in the sector. They're calling it the Awakening." "The what?" Zena demanded, but before anyone could respond, space itself seemed to shudder. From the tier emerged something that defied comprehension, a crystalline entity of impossible size, its surface reflecting the light of dying stars. Ancient records would later identify it as a void leviathan, a creature that hibernated between galaxies, feeding on the fundamental forces of reality itself. "Multiple distress calls coming in," Raj reported grimly. The entity is causing gravitational disruptions. Entire planetary orbits are destabilizing. The Galactic Council is. They're voting to surrender the sector, attempt to contain the damage. Xena watched as Titan suddenly uncoiled to his full length, his body emanating pulses of energy that matched the tier's frequency. Through the ship's sensors, they detected dozens of similar signatures, other Deathworms, responding to his call. He's not running, Yuki realized, studying the readings. None of them are there, converging. Wang's eyes widened as he analyzed the data. The Deathworms, they're not just custodians of planetary geology. They're guardians against these things. This is why they evolved their abilities to manipulate energy and matter. The void Leviathan turned its attention to the gathering Deathworms, its crystalline surface rippling with ancient malevolence. Energy beams lashed out, warping space itself, but the Deathworms moved with practiced precision, absorbing and redirecting the attacks. "Titan's sending a new message," Yuki announced. "He's requesting our help." Xena straightened in her chair. This was the moment that would prove whether humanity's trust in these cosmic beings had been warranted. All power to shields and quantum arrays. Route everything through Titan's frequency. If he's going to fight this thing, he's not doing it alone. The stellar horizon system synchronized with Titan's energy signature, creating a resonance that amplified his powers. Other ships in the sector, seeing their success, followed suit. A network of vessels and Deathworms formed, channeling energy in ways that defied conventional physics. "The tier's frequency is matching Titan's network," Wang shouted over the groaning of stressed metal. "They're not just fighting it, they're trying to seal the breach." Xena watched in awe as Titan led the charge, his massive form glowing with combined energy from the ships and his fellow Deathworms. The void Leviathan fought back, its crystalline body fracturing space around it, but it faced something it had never encountered before: unified resistance from both organic and technological forces. "Hull integrity at 15%, Raj warned. "We can't take much more of this." "Reroute life support if you have to," Xena ordered. "We're not backing down." The battle reached its crescendo as Titan and his kind wove a complex pattern of energy, creating a barrier that even light couldn't escape. The void Leviathan thrashed in its new prison, but the combined power of ships and Deathworms held firm. With a final, reality-bending pulse, they forced the entity back through the tier. "Breach is collapsing," Yuki reported triumphantly. "They did it, we did it." As the tier sealed itself, Titan returned to the stellar horizon, his massive form gently curling around the battered ship like a protective shield. The other Deathworms dispersed, but not before acknowledging their human allies with pulses of grateful energy. "Send word to the Council," Xena said, watching Titan begin repairs on their damaged hull. "Tell them we've just witnessed the true purpose of our partnership. We're not just sharing technology or knowledge, we're combining our strengths to protect all life in the galaxy." As emergency crews began repairs and the adrenaline faded, Xena approached the viewport where Titan worked. The Deathworm paused, turning his sensory arrays toward her in what had become their familiar greeting. "Thank you for trusting us," she said simply. Titan's response came through clear and strong. "Thank you for showing the galaxy that trust is stronger than fear." 1 year after the Void Leviathan incident, the space station, Harmony Point, orbited the edge of human space, its unique architecture reflecting its unprecedented purpose. Captain Xena Blackwood stood in the observation dome, watching as a group of juvenile Deathworms practiced energy manipulation exercises alongside their human partners. "The latest batch of candidates is showing remarkable progress," Commander Raj Patel noted, no longer a hologram but now the station's executive officer. "Though I never thought I'd see the day when Deathworm Flight School was an actual thing." "Neither did the rest of the galaxy," Xena smiled, observing as Titan gently guided his younger kin through the training exercises. The massive Deathworm had grown to his full adult size, yet maintained the gentle precision that had first amazed them on the stellar horizon. Dr. Yuki Nakamura, now head of xenobiology at the station, approached with her latest findings. The neural synchronization between partners is getting stronger with each generation. The younger deathworms are actually developing specialized organs to better communicate with their human counterparts. Evolution in action, Chief Wang called from his workstation, where he was finalizing designs for the next generation of hybrid ships. They're adapting to us as much as we're adapting to them. The station hummed with activity as representatives from across the galaxy arrived for the first graduation ceremony of the Human Deathworm Strategic Alliance. What had started as a desperate rescue mission had evolved into the most successful interspecies cooperation program in known history. High Counselor Vectra materialized on the observation deck, her ancient form somehow more vibrant than before. Captain Blackwood, or should I say Admiral now? The Council has reviewed the latest defense statistics. The combined patrols have reduced cosmic anomalies by 80%, and piracy has virtually disappeared from protected sectors. The numbers are impressive, Xena acknowledged, but I'm more proud of what we've learned from each other. Every day we discover new ways to work together, new understanding of the universe itself. Through the viewport, they watched as a newly commissioned hybrid vessel emerged from the construction docks. Its design merged organic and mechanical engineering, with specialized chambers for Deathworm partners and advanced systems that could channel their unique abilities. The Razak pirates now call this sector the Guardian's Path, Raj mentioned with a hint of pride. They warn each other that attacking ships here means facing both technological and cosmic defenders. We've become the boogeyman to the bogeymen. A soft vibration through the deck announced Titan's approach to the observation dome. The massive Deathworm had developed a way to project his thoughts directly into the station's communication system, his mental voice carrying the weight of ancient wisdom mixed with newfound hope. The time of isolation truly is over, Titan communicated. My kind watched the cosmos for eons, maintaining balance alone. We never imagined we would find partners who could see past our appearance to understand our purpose. Humanity's greatest strength is not their technology or their adaptability. It is their capacity to offer friendship to the unknown. Xena touched the viewport where Titan's sensory array gently pressed against the other side. And your kind's greatest strength was patience, waiting for a species ready to look past fear to see potential. The ceremony began as the first class of human deathworm pairs took their positions. 20 pairs, each representing hundreds of hours of training, trust-building, and breakthrough discoveries. They moved in perfect synchronization, demonstrating maneuvers that would have been impossible for either species alone. We're receiving requests from 17 more species to join the program, Raj reported, checking his datapad. Even the Voraxians, who were our biggest critics in the council. Accept them all, Xena decided. The more we grow, the more we learn. This was never just about humans and deathworms. It's about proving that the impossible becomes possible when we choose trust over fear, cooperation over isolation. As if to emphasize her point, the graduating pairs performed their final demonstration, a complex dance of energy and matter manipulation that lit up space itself. Titan led them in the display, his massive form weaving patterns of light that told the story of their journey from feared monsters to respected allies. The universe is full of mysteries, High Counselor Vectra observed, her multifaceted eyes reflecting the light show. Perhaps the greatest mystery was our own reluctance to see beyond our preconceptions. Humanity has taught us that lesson twice now, first by surviving where we thought they couldn't, then by befriending what we thought was untamable. The ceremony concluded with a new tradition, each deathworm creating a small crystalline structure using their energy manipulation abilities, a physical symbol of the bond with their partners. These crystals, it would later be discovered, contained maps of cosmic anomalies and ancient knowledge, freely shared with those who had earned their trust. As the observation deck cleared, Xena remained, watching Titan lead the new graduates in their first official patrol. The sight of humans and deathworms working together had become normal here, but she never lost her sense of wonder at how far they'd come. "Ready for our patrol, old friend?" she asked, heading toward her hybrid ship where Titan waited. The Deathworm's response carried a hint of amusement. As long as you don't call me Jeff.